guys, it's Raquel. Today I am here with an amazing children book author. You guys may call her Mekael. I call her Miss Black. She actually is so amazing. I'm so excited for you guys to learn about her journey as a children's book author and just her experience being a writer and being in that field and sector of literacy. So, first and foremost, I would like for you to take the floor and introduce yourself.
I'm Mekael Black, and I'm a mother of two and a wife and a children's book author. I wrote my first book in 2020. I published my first book in 2020. Four books and a children's activity book.
Right. So I was gonna say that. So I know I'm reading a lot about like your story and what inspired you to actually get into writing children books was really like your kids. So I thought that that was so amazing, especially your princess book that's
Yes.
inspired by your daughter, which is really amazing. So I wanted you to just kind of take us on that journey of what does that feel like of being a mom where you have to wear like your mom hat, then you're a writer and you want to create and write for those students who are actually going through maybe the same experience that your students go through, like your kids, or
Mhm.
just natural, just everyday woes that students battle with. Take us through that journey.
Yeah, and I've kind of realized that a lot of times when one person is going through something, there are many more people going through the same situation. And my my venture into being an author is totally unique. It's different from any other author. Like I didn't sit down and say, "Oh, I want to write a book about my children today." It didn't happen like that. It was during 2019, and I could not sleep one night. And I tossed and turned. I woke up. It was probably 3 o'clock in the morning. I started praying. I pulled out my phone, started reading the scripture,
Trying
and
to
then
figure it out.
trying to figure out, like, Lord, I was sleeping. They say once you read scripture, you start your sleep.
Yeah, right.
So I did, and I still didn't get sleepy. So I said, Lord, I really want to go to sleep. It's the weekend. It was like Saturday, late Saturday morning, and so I woke. I laid down in my bed, and then next thing I know, I started hearing words. So I grabbed my phone again, and I just started typing out everything I heard.
Yeah.
And when I finished typing, the sun had came up. My children woke up. My husband woke up, and I was up in the bed just typing away. And they was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I said, "I think I just wrote some children's books." And I read it back to them, and my son, he was like, "Mama, I know God had to give you these words because I know you didn't come up with this." And so it was an awesome experience. And then the very next week, the same thing happened. And so the first time that happened, I wrote the What Would A Tale Play Today
Mhm.
book. And that story is inspired by my son because he loved to play. And we would have to make him come in the evening times. And
Mhm.
he loves music. And so in the story, you get to meet his friends and his school friends because he got his nickname in real life from his school friends, A-Tal, because they
Mhm.
said he was really talented in basketball.
Mhm.
And so they started calling him A-Tal. And so in the story, there's a rap in the story. And the kids love the rap because it's relatable. A lot of kids,
Mhm.
they like to dance, they like to
It's right.
song, they like sports. And so when I go read it to schools, they love that part because I get them dancing and whatever too.
Yeah.
And so that book just is just relatable to kids because a lot of kids, well, some kids now don't like to play that much because of technology.
Yeah.
So I always encourage the kids to get outside and play, enjoy the years of your youth. And so the next week is The Fearless Princess. That book came to me then.
Right. So I think that's so amazing. When I read your story, that was like the main thing that I thought of because even just with me being the executive director here at my nonprofit, it's inspired by my kids. I have two
Mhm.
boys. So,
Mhm.
and they're toddlers. So it's inspired. So it's always, I feel like moving when we can take our journey as being like a mom and all the other hats that we wear to make a
Mhm.
huge impact on the students. And I know one thing that I really like that you do a lot with your book, and I know your husband is very supportive, which is amazing. So I love
Mhm.
watching you guys on TikTok. I love
Right.
watching you guys on YouTube, but you guys do a lot of community service giving back to schools where you actually go and you actually read the books to students and you kind of get on site with the students. And I think that's something that would really encourage a lot of students and just parents in general to embrace learning a lot more. So even here at our nonprofit, we really hound in on the fact of like a library card is free. Sign your kid
Mm-hmm.
up. They have free
Mm-hmm.
resources. Just take your kid. Like, and
Yeah.
that's the time for you to take time for yourself too. They have
Yeah.
computers. They have so much that you can do for yourself while your kid is still engaged in literacy.
Yeah.
And I think just you being an author, I would like to know what do you think is like some things missing in literacy with such the decline in reading among students when you're going to those schools and you're reading to students? What do you think is making, I guess, like your journey with the students while you're reading different than maybe like their traditional everyday curriculum at school where they don't really like reading? What do you think kind of sets your book apart from that?
Well, for one, I want to say this. I love what you're doing. I love your organization and what you're doing because that is one of the reasons what your mission is one of the reasons why I actually went ahead and published the books. Because I before publishing the book, and I'm gonna answer your question,
Yeah.
before publishing the book, I was like, I don't know if people would like these
Mm-hmm.
stories. And I talked to a friend who had published his book about his life story. He said, even if you don't publish it for the world, publish it for your children
Mm-hmm.
because it'll be your words left behind as a legacy. So I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, I could do this. So I started researching
Mm-hmm.
childhood literacy because I said, well, if I'm gonna do it, I want to know about childhood literacy. And
Right.
then I discovered that there are book deserts. So
Mm-hmm.
we could get caught up in our world around us and not realize there are kids who don't actually have books in the home,
Right.
like age appropriate books in the home.
Books. Right.
So I said, okay, now God has given me a desire now to get these books to reach these children who may not have books in the home, who
Right.
may not have age appropriate books. And so one of the alarming statistics that I found is that in low income communities that there's only one age appropriate
Appropriate
book
book.
to every
Mm-hmm.
300 children.
Yes.
That just breaks
Blow
my
your
mind. I'm
mind,
like, what?
right?
Like, are you
Yes.
serious? Are you serious?
Yeah.
One book? So I said, okay, I have to reach out to my followers and get
Mm-hmm.
people to, you know,
Yeah.
to these books. And so I started going to the classroom and I was reading these stories and I would ask questions like, do you like to read? No, it's boring. And then
Mm-hmm.
you hear, how many do you have books in the home? Because I want to know if these statistics are right.
Right, right, right,
I'm going to these communities. I'm going to the inner city schools. I'm going to these areas where these
mm-hmm.
children are at. They don't have books.
Right,
These kids don't have books.
right.
And so the first book, I never forget it. And I think it's out there somewhere on my YouTube or Facebook, but I never forget when I gave my first class of
Mm-hmm.
sponsored books. Those kids were so excited.
Excited.
They were
Mm-hmm.
so happy to take a book home to read.
Yeah,
Literally bawled out crying.
yeah.
Just to see their excitement, to have this is my book. These are what they're saying. I could take this home. They hugging
Right,
it. This is my book. This is my
right.
book. And the reason why, like you said, you asked me, why does my book stand out? Because where I'm going, these kids can relate to the
Mm-hmm.
character. They could see themselves in the character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he likes sports like me.
Mm-hmm.
She has the same fears as
Mm-hmm.
I do. Oh, he likes rap like me. Like it's a person in a book that
Books
likes
that like
rap.
rap, right?
you know, like so them being able to relate to the characters in the
Mm-hmm.
storyline, I think is
Mm-hmm.
what held my books to stand out. And it's fun because when I turn up my son, I had him to record the actual rap.
Okay.
We got like a beat to it, we got music to it, and when they hear it, they're like, really? They're dancing. And I was like, the same kids that said reading is boring.
Boring.
Now
Mm-hmm.
having fun. I said, now is reading boring? No, I like this book. Now they don't realize that they're having fun. They're
Right.
reading a rap,
Right.
but they're reading.
Right.
They're
Right.
having fun.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's what makes my book stand out.
yeah, and I can totally agree because I know prior to me actually starting my nonprofit, I actually was a classroom teacher for 6 years. And I've
Mm-hmm.
worked with like grades from literally kindergarten all the way to fifth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I think that was always the most challenging thing because I would have students that'll tell me like, "Oh, well, I like when I read the book with you," or "I like reading
Mm-hmm.
in your class." And then they can go next
Mm-hmm.
door and they're like, "I hate reading." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Mm-hmm.
me. It's not me. But I think what it is, it's more so making it relatable and understanding like your students and understanding your kids. And I think a part of our mission here, what we try to put emphasis on is that we try to get parents to understand that literacy doesn't have to be an extra task. So a lot of times parents think that teaching your kid how to read is like this long, extensive thing when really they just need like the tools to know where to start. And once you get your kiddo going, you know, you can sit back and let your kid read to you. And then also once you master finding out those books that your kid actually really do enjoy, I think it makes a complete difference in that entire literacy experience for the student. So I do believe that you do such a good job with making the book fun, making it relatable, and then also really becoming that true staple in the literacy sector for students, not just students of color, but also just students in general. And I think it's very important because I do think that a lot of times, in literacy, we also want our books to mirror like our kids and mirror our culture. But I do believe too that it's also important that we share that cohesiveness that, you know, literacy is very, very inclusive. And I think that's what really helps make reading fun when
Yeah.
not only can we make it relatable, but we also hit the nail for the student to where like, oh, okay, I like the rap too. I don't think I would be a rapper, but I like the rap too. And this book made me feel like I can rap. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
that entire journey, I think, is so important with developing books. And I think that's why you do have authors like yourself who can go forward making multiple books at a time, because at this point, it's one of those things where you kind of found your niche and then
Mhm.
it's like you're growing and thriving at the same time. So, what I did want to ask you, because like a lot of your books are centered around your kids, do you find yourself when you're writing, do you find yourself to kind of write more in that area of that growth mindset where it's like focusing a lot of more like self-awareness, or do you find yourself writing books in the future more around like maybe sending a message, or maybe both?
I think both. I think especially with the Fearless Princess series that I do want to send a message.
Mhm.
Um it's so important to know who you are.
Mhm.
Like if you don't know who you are,
Yeah,
then the world can tell you who
tell you
you
who
are.
you are, and that's
They
a
could
problem.
shape you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I think, and I don't think you can learn it there's no certain age. You can
right,
teach your child this message early.
right.
And so with that, especially I want to send a message through that book.
Mhm.
And with the A-Tale series, I want kids to know that they could have fun reading.
Fun.
They
Yes.
can have fun
Yeah.
reading, and to give them material that, hey, because in the book, you're meeting all his friends because he loves to play, right? So he has a diverse group of friends. He has
Mhm.
friends from Europe, he has friends
Mhm.
from India, he has
Mhm.
friends from different walks of life, different backgrounds, different religions. So I want people to see that, hey, I don't just have to have friends who look like
Look
me.
like me,
They
right?
look different than I do, and we can still come together and we could play together and have a good friendship.
Yeah, I love that so much. I love that so much because I do believe the ATL series, I think it focused so much on play and
Mhm,
also inclusiveness that when
mhm,
I seen that you came out with like the Princess book, I was like, oh, this is gonna be really nice. You can tell that it's different, how do you say, maybe like different perspectives,
mhm.
but they both are so important to what children are going through to
Yeah.
today, because I do believe that play is something that is kind of leaving the households in a lot
Mhm,
of different homes. And
mhm,
then I do believe embedding that into literacy, ensuring that students understand, like, hey, like, hopefully you get up and you want to go outside and play after you read this book. I
Yeah.
do believe it's so important. The same thing with your princess book. I do believe that the work that you're doing is very, very amazing. You have such amazing accolades and you've had an opportunity to do such amazing work. I know when I first found you, actually, I think it was from Tabitha Brown.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay,
think that's when I first found you. And then I started finding you on TikTok. And then
yeah.
I was like, okay. And then I started finding you on YouTube and I was like, I'm gonna reach out to her.
Yeah.
I was like, we gotta reach out to her. So we spoke and I was like, I think this will be a really, really good thing. So I'm just really proud of you. And also, this month is Women's, History Month.
Mhm.
So I want you to know that you definitely have all the amazing flowers that we here at Learn Reading Easy Hub can give you. What are some things that we should be on the lookout for regarding you as an author or just things that you're working on?
Well, right now I published my latest book last year, um, part two of the Fearless Princess series, Unleash the Peace, and so I'm just promoting that book now, and maybe in the future we'll add some more ATAL books. Kids are asking me. I just went and read to some kids last Friday, and it was like one kid said, "Can I be in your book?" He wanted to be in the ATAL book. And I
Aw.
was like, maybe we can make that happen. So they're asking for more ATAL. So we may have to, I may be working on a new ATALs pretty soon. But I'm just right now, I'm just promoting the books and going to schools, reading and
Mhm,
delivering books to kids who, don't have books in the
mhm.
home, and just getting a message out on my YouTube and social media. So if you want to be encouraged, check out my website or check out my social media platforms for
Yeah.
that.
And I
Yeah.
definitely want you to know that we will definitely share and we support you 100%. So we plan to share and promote the book with you. We're super proud of everything that you're doing. You're doing an amazing job. I want to thank you so much for
Thank
coming to
you.
hang out with us today and just being a part of our Explore the Journey of Reading series and just taking time out your day to just share your journey as an author, and we look forward to doing more stuff with you in the near future.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.